Code Vein, the anime Dark Souls. You guys voted for this to be my next 100%, and I've actually already 100%ed this game before, but it's been so long that I barely remember anything about it. So I'm going back to collect all 43 achievements all over again, and I'm not going to bring any teammates with me. From what I remember, this game can get pretty brutal, so let's see if I'm still any good at it, or if I'm just completely screwed. So I wake up in the lap of a curvy anime girl named Io. Every Discord mod stream come true, right? But before I can even process what's happening, she goes ahead and bites me, like, okay, I guess that's one way to say hello. These random dudes show up and, wait, hold on, I'm a slave now? What did I even do? I literally just woke up. So this nice guy here starts explaining that I'm a revenant, which is just a vampire, you know? Eternally reviving, always needing blood, and I apparently lost my memories from dying too, so he goes on about Project Queen and some massive war between revenants that happened, and I just keep nodding my head. Yes, I very much understand. But then my slavers go, hey, go get us some blood beads or we're keeping your anime wife. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna go do a fetch quest now. And that's when I team up with Oliver Collins. Then I immediately kick him off the team because this is supposed to be a solo run. I spend the next little bit of time backstabbing everyone because it's the only real way to do damage right now since we just have a metal pipe. But I'll eventually get a bayonet. For backstabbing our first enemy, we get our first achievement, Drink Deep. Alright, let's see where life takes me and Oliver now. I'm sure me and him are gonna be the best of friends for the rest of our days.
Are you okay? Did you get hurt?
Oliver, no! That's right, he fought one enemy and died. I know we only met 5 minutes ago, but he was my best friend. Anyways, for this whole playthrough, I am going for every single achievement, obviously, which means I gotta grab every missile. They're basically our bonfires from Dark Souls, and every blood code, which are our classes. Problem is, I don't remember where anything is, so I'm just gonna pick up everything I see, like some kind of loot goblin. And if it glows, I'm probably just gonna take it. A little bit later, I end up running into this random guy. His name's Louis, by the way, but we're not supposed to know that yet, so shh. Don't tell him I told you. So me and Louis, this random stranger, go back to the missile and I toss him off the team too. I don't need no help. This is a solo run, baby. Guess who shows up after that? Oliver. Except he's not too happy about us replacing him. He's a lost now, and that means he's a revenant who's completely lost his mind. I'll be here all week, folks. But you know what? My boy Oliver deserves a warrior's death, so I'm doing this damageless. Beating him gets us our second achievement of the run, Oliver Collins. RIP to a real one. Oh. Nice. Completed the prologue without taking damage. Very cool. Ooh, what's this on the ground? Candy? Not candy. Not candy! So these not candy things I just picked up are vestiges. They let us peer into the minds of other people and see what they went through. I'm gonna check out Oliver's real quick just to see what happened to him before he turned. After that, Louis is gonna bring us back to home base, and oh my god. Big boobed anime women everywhere. And some jacked husbands too. We got Yakumo, Coco, Davis, and Murasame. And then Louis does the most bro move possible. He lets me drink his blood so I can get his powers. And that's some real homie stuff right there. We may have only known each other for about 10 minutes, but we're bros for life now. I'm officially part of the squad, and we're all heading to the city together. Alright, so first things first, I gotta get some new gear. This shit just ain't gonna cut it. So I head over to Murasame and buy some new threads, and I'm really liking the pre-order veil. Gives us really nice stats for what I'm going for, even if I'm not huge on the claw-type blood veils. As for weapons, I think I'm going to be running mostly bayonets, but I am going to be sticking to one-handed swords for a little while. Louis starts dumping more lore on me. Some guy named Silva is taking humans under his protection, which means us revenants are stuck getting our blood from these little things called blood beads. Blood beads are these little orbs that grow from those white trees, but the problem is the trees are drying up. But hey, we're special, so we can clear out the miasma, so I guess that's going to be our job now. Louis tells us we gotta follow these blood veins around to hopefully find the source of all this. So me, Louis, and Yakumo are gonna head to the city, and we're just kicking the asses of every lost we come across. Now while we're running around, I find more of those vestiges like Oliver's, and I need to grab all of them for an achievement. So can we just assume I'm gonna pick this whole world clean? Eventually, we'll find this giant hole in the ground, and I let my intrusive thoughts win and jump in. Dark Souls 2 style, baby. Now this section, we gotta play this bitch like Dark Souls 2, minus the cat ring. Down here, Yakumo starts telling us about his past. He was in the military. He also drops a random fact that revenants don't even need to eat, like at all. And I'm just thinking about how much I want to steal that onigiri he's eating anyways. I start swapping blood codes a bunch here because we're going to want to master a bunch of skills if we want them on future builds. This time around, I'm going to go for dark magic because I've only ever done light magic and one-handed sword builds in this game. The area ends up being way bigger than we thought, and we're exploring for about 20 minutes, and when we're just about to head back, we get ambushed by this chick named Mia. Real talk though, Mia's my favorite Code Vein character. She's the reason I bought this game in the first place. She tries to take our blood beads because her little brother is sick and needs them, and instead of fighting her, we just give her some. But it doesn't seem to help the little guy, so after she runs off, we follow her. When we find Mia again, her little brother is dead, turned to ash, which is something that revenants can't come back from. That shit's permanent, and there's some dude about to kill Mia before we step in and he just disappears. Now it's time to fight the invading executioner boss, also known as Sexy Anime Monster Stripper Girl. Definitely her official title. I remember so many people hating this fight when the game launched because she loves to stagger her attacks and make you wait forever before dodging. Like, she just stands there, and if you dodge too early, you're getting hit. But after learning her timing, I get it down and beat her without taking damage once again, and that gets me the Invading Executioner achievement. Okay, GG's, lady. After that fight, we go through Mia's brother's memories with his vestige, but then Mia starts frenzying because she hasn't had any blood, so we take her back home and try to help her out. Once we're back at home base, I end up going around and giving everyone gifts. Post-apocalyptic Santa here to brighten everyone's day. This gets me achievement numero 3, Building Trust. We also ended up getting Louie's memories and Coco's memories for finding and repairing all the Prometheus and Hunter vestiges around the city. So now it's time to take on the first depths map, and for those who don't know, the depths are basically just the extra challenge dungeons that have some good loot and also some really annoying enemies, but we'll get more into it later. Now, we ended up doing a bunch of side quests here too, but since those aren't needed for achievements, I'm not going to bore you with all that. Once that's done, we're going to go back through the same area over again, except this time we're going to take the other path and go fight the Butterfly of Delirium. And honestly, this one's not too bad as long as you take your time. She has these poison clouds that like to hit you when you dash through her, so we ended up making use of the brilliant strategy of dodging left. Just dodge left, that's it. I don't know what else to tell you, that's the whole strat. After sticking to that, we're able to take her down, no problem. Ooh, no damage, bitch! We ended up meeting a human here, which is pretty crazy considering everyone we've met so far has been vampires or whatever. But then we enter a very annoying area, the dried up trenches, and seriously, the amount of times an enemy put me down in some really stupid way really got me pissed off. But eventually, I did make it to the end of the trenches where we get to fight the insatiable Despot. And I really don't understand why this boss is here or what he does, but he's pretty easy all things considered. We just stick to the good old soul strategy of hanging around the booty, and it ended up being no problem. Just smack that ass and he goes down. Fuck you, buddy! Suck my ass! So it turns out the blood spring here leads back to the city, which means it looks like we missed something. Oh yeah, there's also this dude standing over a corpse and he shows this big ass thing in a woman's chest. Don't worry, we aren't supposed to know what's going on yet. We head back home to find Mia up and around, and she can join us on explorations now, which is cool, but I'm also doing this solo, so that doesn't really matter. Sorry, Mia. Then Yakumo recruits us into his harem, which, you know what? I'm totally cool with. Look at that face. He's handsome as shit.
And now I've got 3 more sheep to look after. A man's work is never done.
He's bouncing off my booty cheeks. I love the way he rides.
Speaking of Yakumo, we return his memories, which gets us Yakumo's memories. After that, we're gonna head back to the city to find the source of the blood veins, which takes us to the Cathedral. But before we can go through there, we're gonna head back home one more time and talk to Mia, who will now give us her blood code before setting off. And now we can finally start getting our build going. About damn time. Now, let me tell you about the Cathedral. It's way too large, it overstays its welcome, it has way too many dead ends, and some crazy strong enemies for this point in the game. Like, who designed this place? Satan? I spent 2 hours going in circles, not to mention the Trial of Blood here, which is the most insane shit ever. Hey, let's throw a bunch of fast enemies and someone who can one-shot you in a room and just see how the player handles it. Sure, if I had a partner it might be okay, but since I don't, fuck you, game dev. But eventually, I do get through it. Took me like 20 tries, but whatever. While we're here, we also gotta make sure we pick up all the vestiges. These are gonna be required for us to get the good ending at the end of our first playthrough, so we can't miss any. Then we took down the Argent Wolf Berserker, who is way too big for this arena. Like, I can barely see what's going on half the time, but on the bright side, he can be backstabbed. So we kinda just chained those together with spells and he went down. After that, we end up getting our memories back and find out that the guy we saw earlier with the woman used to be our commander during the Revenant War we heard about. This guy's name is Jack, by the way, and him and I carve our way through the Provisional government and took down the Queen's Knight. Another fairly easy boss that just requires a bit of dodging and spell spam. After that, we do get some important lore stuff where we find out that we are badass because we were the ones who actually took down the queen. But then we got infected by her and Jack put us down. How are we still alive? I don't know. Maybe he missed our heart. Regardless, with this new blood code called Queenslayer, we now have access to the best buff in the game, Final Journey. This thing will boost our damage by a shit ton, but it kills us after the buff ends. It won't be useful right now, but for the DLC, I am very much going to make use of it. For now, we just keep going through the Cathedral and eventually reach the middle where we find Totally Not Io. She helps us restore that vestige, and inside the Cathedral, we run into a big-ass wolf with the fattest ass. Sorry. This is the successor of the Ribcage, one of the very few bosses in Code Vein with 2 phases, but it definitely knows how to use them. First phase isn't too bad. Hug the butt and smack her with your sword. Run to the other side of the arena when she teleports, and that's about it. Phase 2 though gives us one-shot lasers, giant fireballs that move around the arena, and takes away the tell for her teleport. So it gets much more tough. If you can survive the initial laser barrage she does and get back into her butt and stay there while watching out for those teleports, I'd say you're in a good spot to win the fight. After taking her down, we get Successor of the Ribcage. Ooh, nighty-night, bitch! Go sleep! Here's where we have a chance to restore her memories. Without going into too much story detail so I don't spoil everything for you, she's a friend of Louis and his sisters. She lets us know that all these pieces of the queen called relics were put into people with high compatibility, and if they get out, the queen's gonna get resurrected and we're all fucked. So we need to seek out the other successors. Now, you'll see this happen with all the successors, but after our characters say their goodbyes, the successor turns to stone. But when we restore their memories, they get to stay alive. She may be a giant wolf thing now, but at least she isn't dead. We also meet Louis' sister. Turns out the source of the blood beads and the blood veins that we've been following was her all along. Definitely a shot to Louis right there. Then we get this cool ass fight with Jack as we're leaving the cathedral, which I really want to show you, but I just can't because it plays some really badass Code Vein music, but check out my playthrough on the second channel and skip ahead if you want to see it. When we get back home, Io gives us her blood code and says that she wants to join us for exploration. But since that won't be happening, I told her, hell yeah, you can come. But then I took her blood and left by myself. Sorry, Io. It's not you. It's me. Our next successor is at the snowy mountains of, somewhere. I don't know, we just teleported here, but to be honest, this area doesn't have a whole lot going on. We went through one of the easiest areas in the game and fought one of the easiest bosses in the game, which, by the way, ends up being Mia's brother. Turns out the little guy we saw get ashed earlier was just a clone he made using his successor powers. Kid has resolve, I'll give him that. Becoming a successor to protect your sister takes some real willpower. Once again, we gotta make sure to pick up and restore all his vestiges for that good ending. Definitely can't miss any of those or we'll be screwed later. Goodbye, Nicola. After we save him, Mia decides that she'll stay working with us even though she got what she wanted out of this. Honestly, I'd have been kind of pissed if she left. She is my favorite character in the game after all. When we return home, the girl from earlier barges in asking us to go help Jack, and just so I don't have to keep saying that girl, her name is Ava. Or Eva? I don't know, whatever you want to say. We give her some blood beads before she frenzies, and then we head off to help Jack. Jack tells us that someone named Mito took all their relics, and Yakumo gets real pissy hearing that name. So Mito's a problem. Got it. So we headed through the cave, taking out everything in our path. Once again, not really much to say about this area. It's very straightforward. Just your standard cave with your standard enemies. But I do want to talk about the boss we fight. This guy right here is the Gilded Hunter, and he's really easy if you've played other fast-paced Souls-likes like Bloodborne. Thing is, about halfway through the fight, he buffs himself. Bro straight up injects himself with every drug known to man, snorts every substance, and then moves like Speedy fucking Gonzalez trying to attack you. If you don't have quick step here, forget it. You're gonna get hit, which is why I put in the time to master Louis' hasten gift before coming here. Eventually, his buff does run out and we can put in the damage before he can stand up again, and we win the fight, which nets us the achievement, Gilded Hunter. Let's fucking go! Jesus criminy fucking Christmas. Yakumo opens up here and tells us that Mito used to adopt orphan children and experiment on them, including Yakumo and his friends. So yeah, dude holds a grudge, no shit, I would too. Before we continue though, we're gonna head back to home base and put the Artemis vestiges together, which gets us Mia's memories. The next area, City of Falling Flames, is pretty easy all things considered. Sure, there's fire everywhere that hurts you if you dodge wrong, but the enemies are really easy. Collecting all the Scathach vestiges, on the other hand, is another story, since they're scattered pretty hard around here. After restoring all those, we get to fight our next boss, the successor of the Claw, which happens to be Yakumo's friend this time. The bosses are starting to ramp up now. Playing as a mage does give us a bit of an advantage here, because all we really need to do is wait for her to dash at us, then dodge and throw a spell, rinse and repeat. I did make sure to throw on all my ice spells here though, and you can buff with ice to make things easier. Fun fact about this boss though, if you max out your fire res for this fight, because she does do pure fire damage, she literally can't hurt you. So if you're ever having trouble for this fight, try that. For winning this one, we get Successor of the Claw. Nighty-night, you stupid kitty cat motherfucker! There we go, another successor down. After restoring her memories and getting some cute scenes between her and Yakumo, Mito finally shows himself and made both us and Jack look like trash. So that's pretty cool. Kind of embarrassing, Jackaboy. Mito then goes ahead and lets us know that he injected Eva with some shit that's gonna turn her into the successor of the throat. Wait, what? Eva, no! So we rush our asses home, but Eva was already gone. On the bright side, the next area is where we're going to be completing 90% of our build till we get to the DLC, so at least there's that. Time to get stronger. I ended up using a trick I saw here on YouTube by Gamer Guru, where we can get a shit ton of haze for leveling by using the last area in our memories. So now I have 4 million haze and decided to pump myself up to level 110. This was the first time I'd really leveled in the run, so hey, it's a nice upgrade. Kind of unfortunate levels don't do much in Code Vein besides give you HP and stamina. Going through here is honestly such a pain, because not only do we have to deal with sand slowing us down, but there's also some downright awful enemies here. Most of my most hated enemies in the game are just in this area alone. After the slog of getting through here though, we do pick up quite a few important things, but the main one is the Suicide Spur Blood Veil, which I will have equipped forever. Yeah, the DLC does have a better veil, but it's ugly and it uses the tail attack, which I'm not into. The Suicide Spur, on the other hand, gives us my favorite drain attack in the game, the spikes. I wish I'd made better use of it during the playthrough, but still. Eva's backstory ends up being pretty good, honestly. She was a human, but then she sung in front of some revenants who decided to crush her throat because they were annoyed. What the fuck kind of reaction is that? But Jack ended up killing them. She asked Jack to make her a revenant, but he didn't want her to suffer, and he said no. But Eva eventually did become one. I'm not really sure how, but that restored her ability to speak, and she ended up traveling with Jack to collect all the relics and be their vessel ever since. As a boss though, she's definitely one of my favorites, because she has some cool ass tricks where you can legit just walk towards her and she'll do this attack and it will miss 100% of the time. It's a tough battle for sure, but it definitely tests your ability in this game. And unlike the successor of the Claw, spells are going to be garbage here, so we gotta rely on melee to get through. For beating her, we of course get Successor of the Throat, and a cutscene that never fails to make me tear up every time. Let's fucking go!
Thank you.
But we finally have good news. We restore Eva's memories, and because we got to her fast enough, unlike the other successors, she returns back and joins us. This is the biggest boon for our build, because not only do we get the Harmonia Blood Code from her, which we'll be using till we get to the DLC, but we also get Eva's Bayonet, which happens to be my favorite weapon in the game. Is it the best for a magic build? No. But it's awesome. And while I got you here, if you're enjoying this crazy Code Vein journey so far, this is your mid-video reminder to make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe so you don't miss the finale when we take on the DLC bosses and get that 100%. Our next game is going to be Clair Obscure, which I will be going into blind, so maybe I'll see you there. Anyways, back to Code Vein. Right here, we're going to be able to pick up the achievement Burning Spirit for unlocking 50 gifts and Gifted for inheriting 50 gifts by mastering them. Then I started to go through the rest of the depths maps we have unlocked, and by doing this, we can pick up the achievement Davis's Memories for restoring the Hermes blood code. Our next area, the Crypt Spire, ends up being a lot easier than I remembered. Here we can collect all the vestiges for Murasame's blood code, which I may have forgot, but we'll come back to them. Other than that, the one thing that defines this area is the bosses. First on the chopping block is Anime, Ornstein, and Smo, or as Code Vein calls them, Blade Bearer and Cannoneer. I'm not gonna lie guys, I played this fight like a bitch. I ran away and spell spammed. Sure, I could have probably fought it a bit better if I was okay with taking damage, but I took down every boss in the game up to this point without getting hit, and I wasn't about to stop now. Not only do we pick up the Blade Bearer and Cannoneer achievement from beating them, but we also get one of the best weapons in the game from beating Blade Bearer here. If you enjoy using rapiers, then this is definitely the sword for you. For me, I'm sticking to our bayonet because they're just my personal weapon of choice. Don't worry though, because we got another boss fight right after. Fucking hell! Get out of my face, you hoe bag! We get more plot here where Mito shows us what happens when he shoves all the relics into the last successor, Silva. The red mist around the city disappears and giant monsters start trying to eat people. Luckily, Silver holds out and puts the mist back up, but what we actually just saw is Code Vein's ties into the God Eater games, which are like anime Monster Hunter, as if they weren't anime enough. But now I gotta whoop this old fuck's ass. And while I was ready to be put in my place considering all the shit he's been talking through the game, bro fights like an anorexic donkey, like legit. He kinda just stands there half the time and yells. When we beat him, we get Juzo Mito.
You're mine. Too slow.
Bye, bitch! Now we have access to the DLC and Murasame's blood code, so it's time I put my whole build together. And yes, I did use a partner while doing the DLC bosses. Sue me. I had to get this video out. And besides, watch this.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Bam!
We'll end you this time.
Bam! And bam! We one-shot, sort of, all the bosses thanks to Jack's communal gift. This nets us quite a few achievements. For using a communal gift, we get Resonant Power. For equipping every Blood Veil and every type of weapon, we pick up a weapon for every season and Revenant Requisites. For hearing 50 partner voice lines and getting gifted our 30th present, we pick up Together into Oblivion and Proven Devotion. And finally, for leveling a weapon and Blood Veil to +10, we get Ultimate Armament and Unbreakable Veil. Right after that, I make a pit stop back at the Spire to pick up Murasame's last vestige and restore it to net ourselves Murasame's Memories. Whew, that was a lot of achievements. Now we're onto the last area of the game in the same place that was in our memories, the Provisional Government area. The main place isn't too bad. No, who am I kidding? This shit may be small and easy to get through, but some of these enemies were about to make me crash out. It was around this point where I was getting a bit bored too, so that didn't help. Luckily, I was really overpowered because of the DLC gifts, so I was doing pretty well in terms of damage. I made sure to make use of the one-shot bayonet build we used for the DLC bosses and end up putting down the Queen's Knight Reborn in one hit, which gets us Queen's Knight Reborn. Honestly, Bandai, you gotta come up with better achievement names for Code Vein 2. During both this section and the next one, we do need to make sure we're picking up the EOS vestiges, since we'll be picking up quite a few achievements from them, and of course the good ending. You can save yourself a playthrough here by not restoring them, beating the final boss, then restoring them and doing it again, but that's totally up to you. I went for 3 playthroughs because, as we all know, I hate myself. Thanks to my downright overpowered abilities, we take down the other attendant of the relics in one shot and restore EOS memories, no problem. This gets us, of course, EOS memories. Heading into the final area and touching the last missile also gets us Miasma Manager. Surprised they didn't call it Missile Toucher. The 2 final bosses are tough, I won't lie to you. I went with the good old Firecracker build here, which just means I maxed out on gift speed and spammed fire spells at the boss while restoring my egg core quick as hell. We just barely eke out a win here before Final Journey kills me, which gets us Skull King. For the second boss here though, I went with a completely different strategy, using a great sword that we got from the first phase boss. After maxing this bad boy to +10, I buff up and hit an absolutely devious bonk on the boss's face and basically end him in one hit. Honestly, it felt really good. For winning this fight, we get the good and true ending where Io sacrifices herself to basically end the bloodthirst epidemic and keep the red mist up without us having to sacrifice ourselves. We get to see our main cast leaving the red mist while Jack and Eva stay put to watch over Io, and I really hope there's some way we see these guys in Code Vein too. We're getting the good ending, we get Dweller in the Dark. Now we only have a few things left to collect, and I'm gonna breeze through these real fast. We get the regular ending by only saving one successor, which sees us taking the place of Silva on the throne to keep the red mist up and Io turning to stone to get the To Eternity achievement. Then on my last playthrough, I don't save anyone. This will not only get us the final blood code and the Weaver of the Wills achievement, but also Gift Gatherer for learning 150 gifts, and of course Heirs for getting the bad ending. In this ending, the Queen resurrects using our body, and we're put down by Louis, making all of our friends have to take on the roles of the new successors. Ouch, very dark. For viewing our third ending, we get Determiner of Fate, and the last thing we have left to do is head for the last two depths locations, getting Deep Trailblazer and Mender of Minds for restoring the last vestige. Then of course, the dreaded last achievement for playing online. Or you can do what Rarno did back in 2019 and grind for them offline, then realize after 200 medals that is stupid and go online anyway. Luckily, nowadays you can use the tower trials to farm something like 6 to 8 medals over and over again offline, but eventually we'll get the Exalted Reputation achievement, and of course, Revenant Preeminent for getting all the achievements. So that was every single achievement in Code Vein. This game was quite a blast to 100% and come back to. Honestly, one of my favorite Souls-likes out there. Just don't try to do the boss's damage list if you value your sanity. If you enjoyed watching this journey though, make sure to drop a like down below and sub so you don't miss my next 100% completion. Check out our Discord down below too if you want to talk with me or our ever-growing community. But with that being said, Code Vein is mission complete. Thank you very much for watching and have a great rest of your day.